Welcome to this webcast. This is Ron Mueller, and as you see, I'm excited to present this webinar because, as you can see, I've discovered a way that we can actually. It kind of feels like getting back at Uncle Sam. They were kind of using us for years, and maybe now we have a chance to use Uncle Sam, because there is a new recruiting, closing, and retention system I'd like to introduce you to that has been field tested and it's working like crazy. And it's one of the nice things about it is that it works compatibly with any recruiting system that your company has in place. So let's begin. I want to first remind you, if you didn't know this yet, that just for showing up, you get a free bonus, and that's 6 ways to bulletproof your home business tax deductions. You get that the download instructions a little later today for how to get that special report. Here's where we're going to go today. Here's our roadmap. First, we're going to discover how much we're really paying in taxes, and the answer, as it says on the screen here, may shock you. And then we'll talk about how your home-based business can add an extra $4,000 to $6,000 to your tax refund this year and every year. So whatever amount of money you get at the end of the year, most people get a refund at the end of the year. And if you're one of those people, then add approximately $5,000 to that, and that's how much your refund could be at the end of this year and every year after that because of your home-based business. Next, after that, we're going to talk about how you can collect that money without waiting until April 15th of next year. You can collect it at a rate of $300 to $500 a month, and you can have that begin this month. We're going to cover that third, and then finally, we're going to talk about how to use this information to measurably accelerate your recruiting and closing without you answering a single tax question. Now, we're going to get a little help from Uncle Sam. This approach is driven by the tax savings and extra cash available to home-based business owners, but it's not contingent upon you having to answer any tax questions. In fact, it's better if you don't. Why? Because that's not duplicatable. So we're going to show you a way that you can use Uncle Sam without answering tax questions. So let's move on. That's our list. That's our agenda for today. So some people like to know where they're going before we get started. So that's where we're going. All right, fact. Here's a fact. You will never even see more than half of your own wages. Some kinds of taxes, whether it's federal or local or state or payroll taxes or FICA or unemployment, whatever, all those taxes add up to where you're probably getting, I would guess most of you are getting less than half of what you earn, less than half of your money. Then you try to live on the leftovers, called your take-home pay, and we look at ourselves and say in the mirror and say, I'm making a good wage. Why am I always broke? Well, maybe that's why you're always broke, because taxes are bleeding you to death. Think about it. If taxes suck $1 out of every $2 you earn, how are you going to ever get ahead of the game? A millionaire is a half a millionaire after taxes. So we've got to learn how to get our taxes under control, and we've got a way to do that as home-based business owners. Here's how much taxes really are costing you. They're costing you more than the amount of money you pay for your housing payment or your rent. And add to that all your health care expenses, including your insurance premiums and co-pays and your annual deductibles and your out-of-pocket expenses, all those health care expenses. And on top of that, add your meals and groceries, all your food expenses. Then add your car payments and gas. You're paying more in taxes than all those combined. Those tend to be, statistically, the top 4, the largest 4 budget items on a household budget. Well, the biggest budget item that doesn't appear on your budget is your taxes. It is bigger than all 4 of those combined. If you had to pay your taxes, if you actually got paid all of your wages, and then you had to pay your taxes with a check once a month, it'd drive you crazy. There would be a revolt in this country over taxes, that's for sure. The only reason there isn't right now is because it's a silent killer, as they say. They take it out before you see your wages, and most of us never look at our pay stub because it's depressing. But if you did, you'd see how much you're losing. That's the problem. That's why, if it sometimes feels like your pockets are empty, well, maybe they are, because Uncle Sam is shaking the cash out as fast as we could, almost as fast as we can make it. It's also why some of your highly motivated prospects have to tell you, I can't afford to get into the business. Now, they know, even a highly motivated prospect, one who says, I know I need this business. I know it's the only way I'm going to get myself out of the financial condition I'm in right now, but there's a price to getting in, even though it's small. There's a price to getting in, and then there's the monthly auditorships, and it's if they're already upside down financially, they might have to say, I can't afford to get in, partly because of how much they're paying in taxes. Also, the tax bite is so strong that there may even be some cash-strapped people on your own team that have to tell you, I can't afford ownership anymore. I just have to cut expenses. Those are the problems we're dealing with, but it makes you feel powerless. I hear those things and I say, I used to say, what can I do? Well, today we're going to find out we can do something. Because the sad truth is that many of the people who need a home-based business the most, those are the ones who just can't afford to get in. They can't afford to get started, so they spend so much time trying to earn enough money that they can live on half of it, that they don't have money left, all the time left to run a home-based business. So let's look at a solution to the problem. What if you had real answers that could actually give factual and honest help to people who want to get in the business, but they just don't have the cash? What if you could tell them that there's government funding available that would cover all the startup costs and the costs, month after month costs, their auto ship costs and their business cards and the cost of going to conventions and things like that? What if Uncle Sam we could find government funding for all those costs, and the funding does not need to be repaid? We're not talking about a loan. We're not talking about a grant that needs to be repaid. We're talking about free money, just getting Uncle Sam to underwrite the cost of getting the business. What if you could do that? And by the way, the same government funding, you can use it yourself as well. So the money you spend every month on your own business expenses, that also is covered under the same approach. Your prospects, and you, by the way, we have the ability to do something about how much we pay in taxes. That's because we're about to discover how to legally, morally, and ethically reduce the amount of money you're paying in taxes every month. If less money is taken out of your paycheck for taxes, where's that money going to go? The more money ends up in your pocket as increased take-home pay. So if you make $1 and they take out $1 for taxes, or make $2, they take $1 out for taxes, you got $1 left, right? But if they only took 50 cents out for taxes, then your take-home pay is $1.50. So your take-home pay increases if they take less money out of your wages for taxes. How much more? Well, it's more than enough to pay for the cost of running your business. So by having less money taken out, you put more money in your take-home pay. The amount of money that increased in your take-home pay, it averages somewhere around $300 to $500 a month. That's how much additional money you'll have in your take-home pay when you understand what we're going to go through in this webcast this morning. So it's this can make a huge difference to a lot of people, including you, I would presume. That's the end result. Now let's back up and look at the process to make that happen. First, here's why it happens. The biggest of all tax deductions in America, who do they belong to? Home-based business owners. I don't know another single category of taxpayer that gets even close to as many tax breaks as we get. Home business owners get more tax breaks than any other category of taxpayer in America. So question, why would Congress approve special tax deductions, especially for us? And the answer is they want to encourage, ideally they'd like to see every taxpayer have a part-time or a full-time home-based business. Why? Well, two reasons. It's a good backup plan for the taxpayer. And by that, what that means is if you go to work today and find out you don't have a job because your company got downsized, rate size, cap size, whatever it got, what you got was unemployed. Congress said, I sure would rather that person go home and ramp up their part-time business to full-time instead of going home to look up the address of the unemployment office. So it's good for the taxpayer and help the economy, especially in times of high unemployment. Why? Because big business got us into a recession. Small business got us out of a recession. Small business is the engine, the lifeblood, the heartbeat of the American economy. So it just makes good economic sense to stimulate the growth of small business, and that starts with a home-based business. There is, you may know the story that there was a time when a guy named Bill Gates was working part-time for himself in his garage building computers. What could Congress do? Their next question was, what can we do to stimulate the growth of home businesses? Well, how do you get people who are not running a business now to do it? How do you get somebody to take on something additional to do? Well, incentives are a good place to start. So they need to provide incentives to start a home-based business. They need to provide money to pay the operating costs so that somebody, literally a cash broke person, somebody with no positive cash flow, should be able to get into a home-based business and run one without it affecting their cash flow, without going into debt by doing it. So they need to provide incentives to start one, provide money to pay the operating costs, and then continue providing some kind of rewards to keep it active. That's what they that was kind of their game plan. So they said, what do we have to do to what should we make a taxpayer do to qualify? We want them to run a part-time home-based business or full-time, and we're going to compensate them. We're going to incentivize them financially to do it. What are the qualifications? Well, they made it real easy. They said that any taxpayer who runs a real home-based business, either part-time or full-time, only needs to meet 3 requirements. The first one is run your business on a regular and consistent basis. Now, what's that mean? Well, that means the tax courts have said that means at least 3 to 4 hours a week. So I tell people this is what it takes to qualify to get tax breaks, but it's not what it takes to qualify to get financially free. I mean, they're going to want to put more time in the business, and if they're serious about eventually being able to fire their boss. But that's the first requirement. Just work your business 3 to 4 hours a week on a regular and consistent basis. They want to see a pattern. They want to see that you're running your business like a business, not like a hobby or like a part-time avocation. Number 2, run it with the intent to make a profit. Now, notice the word there's intent. It does not say you need to make a profit. You need to be working towards making a profit. There's an understanding in the IRS that when you start a new business, you're probably not going to be profitable the first year. You're probably going to, at least on paper, spend more money than you're making in the business. That's where the tax savings comes in. That's what pays for the cost of running the business, while it doesn't have, it's not showing a profit yet on paper. Well, the third and final requirement is simply keep good records. Now, there's a law in this country that every tax deduction you claim has to be documented. You got to be able to prove you qualified for it. But there is no law in this country that says that has to be hard. So I'm going to introduce you to a way a little later on in this webinar that by spending 3 to 5 minutes a day max, you can have bulletproof records that will totally protect your tax deduction. So by just doing those 3 things, any taxpayer can qualify to do what? To put somewhere around $5,000 extra cash in their pocket. And that's per year, every year. So it's every single year for as long as you continue running a home-based business. Now that's what Congress meant. That's the proof in the pudding when they said we're going to pay people, provide ongoing rewards. Well, what that means is that the money you qualify to save in taxes, which means put in your pocket, to start your business and run your business, that continues as long as you continue a full year under the bargain, which is simply to run your business on a regular basis with a profit intent and keeping records. So where does the extra cash in your pocket come from? It comes from new additional tax refunds. Remember, we said if they take less money away from you, more money goes into your pocket. See, here's how it works. Congress asks themselves, if we're going to incentivize taxpayers with money to run a home-based business, how are we going to pay them? Well, they came up with a smart solution. And I don't very often use Congress and smart in the same sentence, but in this case, Congress came up with a smart answer. And the answer is the most efficient way to put more cash in your pocket is to take less cash out of your pocket. So that's why new additional tax refunds is the answer to where's the cash going to come from. They're going to pay you to run your business. So why did they pick that amount? Because they wanted to provide enough additional take-home pay to cover the cost of running your business. Remember, the objective was to make it possible for a cash-broke person to be able to start and run a home-based business. So they need to be able to put enough extra cash in your pocket to cover the cost of running the business. And, as I said earlier, alluded to, you and your prospect don't need to wait till April 15th to get your hands on that money. Remember, they said they want to provide money to cover the operating costs. That happens every month. You can't, somebody starting up a business in the month of February isn't going to be able to, as they have business costs, I'm not going to be able to say, put it on my tab, I'll see you next April when I get my refund. So Congress said, okay, we got to make it possible for people to get their hands on their money earlier. Well, how earlier? Every month. You can begin doing that every month. So let's look at how that works. Example, let's say that your home business tax deductions are going to increase your annual refund by that $4,000 to $1,000. No, that's not statistical. It's based on, I've been doing this coaching now for more than a decade, and it's based on anecdotal evidence, as I say. It's people coming back to me and saying how much this information saved them in taxes. And I don't personally know of anybody who has saved less than like $3,500, like the bare minimum. But lots of people have saved a lot more than $6,000. But let's use an average of $5,000 just for example. If you divide 5,000 by the number of months in a year, 5,000 divided by 12 is roughly $400 a month. So that means you simply go to your payroll office, and I'll be teaching you step by step how to do this. But you go to your payroll office, and essentially you tell them withhold $400 less out of your monthly wages for taxes. That's what your prospect. This is what I'll be telling your prospects. I'll give you tools to tell your prospects this. How to do that. So if your payroll office starts taking $400 less out of your paycheck for taxes, that puts $400 more in your paycheck for take-home pay, right? Because the less money coming out, the more money going in. So that means that your prospect and you can increase your take-home pay by about $400 a month, and that can begin the very month they join. Now, this is something that starts as soon as they get in the business. It doesn't begin until then, and it's not retroactive. So the day they get in is the day they begin qualifying, and that's the day that they can begin qualifying by meeting those 3 requirements and change the amount of taxes being withheld. So that extra tax savings, that $400 a month, that's just some tax savings. That doesn't even include any commissions or bonuses they're going to make in your company. So once they start running the business itself, every dollar they make in commissions and bonuses is what? Profit. Because the operating costs have already been covered by the additional take-home pay. So this is essentially what I just said, that since $400 a month is more than enough to cover the cost of expenses of running a business, every dollar is profit. Now, do you think that might be an incentive to get people to become more successful in finding customers and finding prospects, especially customers? Because they know that every time they make every penny they make in commissions they get to keep, it's not going to go to pay for the cost of running the business. Knowledge is power, but what's lack of knowledge? I think lack of knowledge is expensive. How expensive? Well, look, here's something you can tell your prospects. Any taxpayer who does not have a home-based business, therefore they're unable to qualify for the home business tax deductions, they've overpaid their taxes about $400 this month alone. And you know what? That's just like last month and like next month. They cannot stop overpaying their taxes by about $400 a month until they get into a home-based business. It's the only way to do it. The only way to slash their taxes by about $400 a month. And when I say they, I'm talking about your prospects, but I'm also talking to you. This also applies to you. In fact, it ought to apply to you first because you want to be your own best example, right? Bleeding to death from taxes. When will the pain finally end? Your prospects can stop overpaying their taxes only not until the day they get in the business, but the very day they get into the business, they qualify. See, that might get an incentive to make a decision and to get started. They don't qualify a day sooner. So if they're going to keep overpaying their taxes, $400 a month, every month, until they make a decision. That's about $100 a week. Think about this. What if you woke up in the morning, and your favorite day of the week, Monday morning, right? You wake up and you reach over to hit the snooze alarm, and your hand falls on something that you pull over to your eyes, and it turns out to be a crisp $100 bill. And there's a Post-it note on that $100 bill that says you can. This is to pay for your business expenses this week, but it's probably more than you'll need to spend the rest on whatever else you want. And P.S. There'll be another $100 bill here on your nightstand every Monday morning for the rest of your life as long as you continue running your home-based business. That's what it's like. $400 a month is $100 a week. What would it be like to have an extra $100 bill to stuff in your pocket or your purse every single week? So this isn't just an example. This is an example of what will actually happen. This information might be able to give you a way to help people with financial concerns, people who want to get in the business but can't afford it. You might be able to tell them now the government will fund the cost of starting and running your home-based business. Now, technically, it's not the government funding it, it's you funding it, but it's money that you're forced to send to the government unless you do this. So in a way, it's government money. Uncle Sam will actually pay somebody to run a home-based business by reducing your taxes and letting you keep the difference. It might help an indecisive person because $100 a week works out to be about $20 a day, right? You work 5 days a week. So if somebody is about to make a decision, they could make a decision today and stop overpaying their taxes by $20 a day, or they can say, I'll call you back tomorrow, and they throw away another $20 bill. So tell them to make a decision now and put off their procrastination. This could help you retain people who say, I've got to get out of autoship. I've got to start saving some money. Because you're going to be able to prove to them it would cost them more to get out than to stay in. If they're paying, say, $150, or let's say on a high end, $200 for autoship, and they decide to stop autoship, that also stops their tax deductions. So that extra $400 we're going to show them how to put in their pocket goes away. So it costs them $400 to save $200. It makes no sense. As we've said, this information just also works for you in exactly the same way. You could be putting a few $1,000s a year in your pocket right now too, which works out to be the same $400 a month, $100 a week, $20 a day. So $20 a day, that's pretty significant money, isn't it? Would you be willing to, on your way to work every morning, throw a $20 bill out your window and watch it blow away in a breeze? Probably not. But that's what you're throwing away now because of, you got to have two things in place. One is you have to have a home-based business that qualifies. The second is you have to have the knowledge of the tax deductions so that you can save the money you qualify for. In your case, you already qualify for the deductions. You just need to find out what they are, and we're doing that now. We're about to jump into that. And in the case of your prospect, they need both of those. They need to have the understanding of the tax savings, but that doesn't do them any good if they don't have a home-based business. Learning what you need to know, both to slash your own taxes and to help with recruiting and closing, it's not difficult either. It's not painful, time-consuming, or boring, as it says on your slides. It's not difficult. Here's how easy it is. You can get a pretty good working knowledge, in fact, a very good working knowledge, of the 6 biggest home business tax deductions. And now there's over 100 different tax deductions available to home-based business owners. A lot of them are little nickel and dime ones. They add up to dollars. But there are 6 really big ones. And you can learn those 6 big ones in about one a day. If you spend about an hour a day, each of them focus on one of these 6 tax deductions, by the end of the week you're going to have a good working knowledge, enough knowledge that you're going to be able to walk into your own payroll office. You're going to know how much to have them reduce your taxes so that you collect it now. I mean, you pay your withholding taxes. But, so you collect it now instead of the end of the year without affecting your end-of-the-year refund. You're still going to get the same refund the end of the year you would have before. But in addition to that, you're going to be paying less taxes throughout the year. Okay, let's transition now to something that's just as important as saving money for yourself, and that's how do you use it to help prospects get in, to become successful in, and to stay in your opportunity. We're talking about recruiting, closing, and retention. Think about this for a second. If your prospects knew what you just discovered, could you recruit and close prospects a little faster? I know people who are recruiting prospects with this system before they even know the name of the company that they're going to be working with or the products and services they offer. I know people who don't even lead with the company because the thing about when you lead with your company, a number of challenges. You've got to prove that you're the biggest and the best and the most honest and the most healthy and the biggest opportunity, blah, 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 against hundreds of competitors. Because there are hundreds of different network marketing companies. But we're not talking that. We're saying if I could just show you a way to put an extra $400 cash in your pocket without doing any extra work, that just from your current day job, without doing any extra work, without asking for a pay raise, if I could show you how to do that, would you be interested? Well, of course. It's going to cost you 3 or 4 hours a week, but you can do it at your own convenience. All right? Yeah, that's all right. How do I do that? And then you say you've got to have a home-based business. How do I get one? Oh, we just happen to have one here for you. Now, let me show you now the field-tested and proven system that I told you about, the turnkey recruiting system. It's hand in glove with whatever you're already using for recruiting and closing. This is not a system to replace what your company is recommending to you. It works hand in glove with it. It's a system that will help you explode your business success with a little help from Uncle Sam. With this system, you'll be able to recruit with information that has everyone saying yes. If you ask questions like, would you like to save money in taxes? Would you like to put for every week that you pay $100 in taxes, would you rather put that in your pocket or pay Uncle Sam? Well, of course they're going to say yes. I want to put it in my pocket. So you're giving them information that's going to have everybody saying yes. And once you want to get that pattern going, so when you say you want to join my company, the answer also is yes. You're going to have a slam dunk on the spot closing record because you're going to be able to tell people, okay, take your time making a decision, but it's going to cost you $20 a day for as long as you think about it. That's the cost of procrastination. You're going to be able to stabilize your retention because you're going to have information that will, objective information that's going to prove that it costs more to get out than to stay in. Who would ever get out? And if you get, see, the thing is, if you can get people in your downline to understand this and start doing this, and start putting an extra $100 a week, extra cash in their pocket, they don't dare get out. Because if they get out, they got to start paying that money back to Uncle Sam again. So once they get used to an extra $400 a month, that's like a pay raise, but you get used to pay raises. So if you take that away, then it's like a pay cut. So it's really a good way to really incentivize people to stay in the business. Why is that important? Because that's usually what leads to success. It's persistence that leads to success. It's just not giving up is what equals success in this MLM business. And you can do all that without you answering a single tax question. Here's how we do that. And this is the reason why, because that's duplicatable. But you're going to know enough tax information to be able to answer some of their basic questions. But you still don't want to answer them. Because if you do, you're telling that prospect that you're going to have to understand this tax stuff too in order to be successful, and that's not true. They don't. And you don't want them to think they have to do that. It's another speed bump to get over to getting somebody into your business. So here's how it works. We're introducing a system for recruiting, closing, and retention. Does all three of those things. That is 100% compatible with your own company system. It's been fine-tuned and perfected through field testing. Now, we've been using these tools. I'm going to introduce us to some new tools that have been, we've tried this with multiple network marketing companies at various levels, from the super successful to the brand new, just got in the business recruit. And over a period of a couple of years, these tools have been fine-tuned. And now I have to say that they're perfected. And they're perfected through field testing under actual recruiting conditions. It just plain flat out works. In fact, I got people ordering some of these tools by the thousands because they're working so well. And you'll be happy to learn that selling tools is not my business, and so I charge pennies above cost. So I don't charge you the outrageous amounts of money that tools companies charge you for marketing tools for your own business. We're going to let the tools do the work, right? Let's take a look at those new tools. The first one requires you to memorize 3 words. Here, read this. You're going to open up with a sentence like, if I could show you a way to get Uncle Sam to pay your home-based business, would you be interested? Well, yeah, but how does that work? You don't answer the question. You say, here, read this. Memorize those 3 words. You hand them this brochure. This is a 3-panel brochure, front and back, that essentially it tells them why Congress passed tax breaks for home business owners. It actually identifies what the top 6 tax breaks are, and then it tells them what they have to do to qualify. Work your business regularly, profit intent, and keeping record. And it ends with the cost of procrastination. That's a $20 bill. Throw $20 a day out the window. That's what you're throwing away right now for extra taxes, just because you don't have a home-based business. It answers all that for you. Now, if for a cold market lead, these are great for cold markets. There's a little CD. It's got a 6-minute. It's like a sizzle call. It gives people enough information about the tax savings to get them to want to know more. But it leaves them with in order to get more information on this. How do you get more information on the tax savings? Well, first of all, it doesn't make any difference if they have a home-based business. So get with the person that gave you the CD and get into home-based business, and they'll tell you how to get the information to save more taxes. And of course, you send them to my website, which is printed on the bottom of the CD. So you got to memorize. It's a longer sentence. You got to memorize 4 words instead of 3. It's here. Listen to this. I know stories of people who've gone through to the grocery store, and in the checkout line, they handed one of these to the clerk. Said, "Listen to this on your way home and tell me what you think." And they come back the next day, go through the same grocery line, and say, "What do you think?" and a person on their team now. So it's something to get. Doesn't say anything about network marketing, nothing about your business, of course. It's all totally generic. It just talks about the tax rates that are available if you just work your business 3 to 4 hours a week trying to make a profit. There's a 5-minute sizzle video also on the website. So if you're doing long-distance recruiting, for example, you can direct people to a video that is very similar to the CD. But instead of mailing them a CD, you direct them to a URL that takes them right to a video, and you get unlimited access to that. And then there's the book, Home Business Tax Savings Made Easy. Many of you probably already have this. This particular version just came out a month ago, so it's brand new, totally up to date. Again, you use the words here, read this, but you use it in a different way. It's after they've read the brochure or after they've listened to the CD and they want to know more. Actually, after they've listened to the CD and want to know more, you can hand them a brochure. Then they come back and say, it says something in here about being able to hire my kids and save tax. How's that work? Well, you don't answer it. You hand them this book and say, here, it's in chapter, where is it? Chapter 6. Chapter 6 will answer that question for you. Or you don't even need to know the chapter. You just say, let me loan you this book. In fact, make sure that you loan them the book. Tell them that you've got to get this back because this is your tax savings Bible, but you're going to loan it to them overnight. And they can learn. This is a real easy-to-read book. It's 14-point type, space and a half, 1.5 line spacing. Very easy read. It's nothing complicated. I took out all the jargon. I translated the IRSEs and legalese and governmentese all into peopleese. It's plain language. It's the way we talk normally, not the way that the IRS writes tax code. So the 6 deductions are described in here, how to determine how much that's going to save them in taxes, then turn that into what do you say when you go to the payroll office, and all that's covered in the book. And this is a book that can be read in just a few hours. It's a quick read, but it's got all the information. It's quick because taking all the complicated stuff out. And the IRS, by the way, has reviewed this book, and they didn't ask for a single change. So what that means to me, my interpretation of that, is that they said this is simplified and it's still accurate. So a whole new approach to marketing with these proven tools. You can recruit prospects with a little help from Uncle Sam, and then you can warm up your cold list by using the CDs or the online video. You close offenders by telling them the cost of procrastination. You can end retention issues by showing them on paper that how much they're saving by how much extra money they're putting in their pocket from tax savings alone by staying in the business, and how much it's going to cost them to get out, and see that it makes more sense to stay in. You might even revive dormant downline. I know of a couple of cases where people have gone back to folks in their downline who used to be active and they've stopped becoming active, and say, if you come back and work the business again, an average of maybe an hour a day, I can show you how to put an extra $300, $400, $500 cash in your pocket, not counting the money you're going to make by talking to people. And you can slash your own taxes by the same amount. So all that can be done without you answering a single tax question. It's all in using the tools. So finally, we got a turnkey system that puts recruiting, closing, and retention into overdrive because it's so easy. We're not talking about how much healthier they're going to be if they take my product, or how much safer they're going to be if they have this protection system, or how much you don't have to do all that. People are driven by money. If you don't think so, then I have to ask you, would you actually get up every morning and go to drive into work and spend 8 hours there before you drive back home again every day if you didn't get paid for it? Most people wouldn't. So if they're driven by money, so you can start with the money. You don't have to, but I know people that have. In fact, I know an example. I got an example a couple of weeks ago from somebody who said they sat down with 3 people at lunch to give them a business presentation, and when they were finished, one of them was interested in becoming a customer, and two of them were interested in becoming a customer. None of them wanted to be a distributor, and then he brought out the tax information. When they were finished reviewing the tax information, hand them all a brochure, let them read through it, talk to each other, and when the lunch was over, all 3 of them signed up in the business. So this can be really powerful and quick. So finally, we have a step-by-step guide. I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. There are 7 different audiences the cold market, the warm market, the distant market, the recruiting online market, you know, all the different marketing, including your own downline and your own customers and your dormant downline. So it's 6 different audiences. So what I do is I give you a step-by-step guide. It's a 7-page guide. Each guide is addresses one audience. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to try to recruit somebody that works there. What do? That's cold market, right? So you put the page for cold market. It says start by saying this and hand them this tool. And then they will probably come back with either this question or this objection, in which case this is the tool you're using and what you say when you hand it to them. So it's literally step-by-step exactly what to do, and it's refined right down to the individual type of person you're recruiting. It includes a copy, of course, of the book, Home Business Tax Savings Made Easy. This is, the subtitle says it all, the more you know, the less you owe. You are overpaying your taxes probably right now, unless you've been using my information, or somebody else who's delivering the same information. I don't know anybody else it is, but unless you know this information, you're overpaying your taxes because